Welcome to the Multi-Orgasmic Mama podcast, where sexual taboos around sex and motherhood are broken. I'm Tilly Storm, holistic sex and intimacy coach, jade egg, and tantric sex teacher. I work with high-achieving moms to ignite their sexual desire and break through their blocks to pleasure and the life they desire so they can experience epic sex and orgasmic motherhood. Grab more free resources at www.tillystorm.com. This episode is brought to you for free by the Essentially Embodied Woman Collective, my signature women's group coaching program for high-achieving moms to get their desire back after having kids and up-level their pleasure, both in the bedroom and life. If you're enjoying this content, be sure to subscribe to the podcast on your favorite podcasting app, and please rate and review the podcast and share it with a friend who could use this amazing content. Spread the love, hot mama. Welcome back, mamas. It's Tilly Storm. Over the years of being a holistic sex coach, I've connected with many women who are in the essential oil and aromatherapy space who, tend to be in one of the MLM, Young Living, or doTERRA essential oils business. And while I do use these products and I have benefited greatly from them, and so have my children, it's been really wonderful to connect with a true aromatherapist who isn't a part of those things and where the energy feels really clear and good, to have an expert in this field on the podcast that's not affiliated with either of these MLMs. And that's why I wanted to bring Lorrie Hargis on today to share with you about the benefits of aromatherapy, essential oils, and aphrodisiacs to ignite your love life. During her 34 years in the aromatherapy space, Lorrie has been a global leader in the development of certified organic therapeutic skincare, perfume, and healthcare products. And she led the curriculum development and training programs at Fortune 500 companies even. And she's taught thousands of people to better their health and well-being using aromatherapy. Founder of the Lorrie Hargis International School of Aromatherapy, Lorrie teaches, guides, and certifies students to be safe and effective aromatherapists. This has led her to develop the Lorrie method on the latest scientific research, which incorporates mental and emotional wellness to develop self-confidence, knowledge, and skills, assuring outstanding results using aromatherapy. So today I brought on Lorrie to share with us how you can use these in your sex life and in your relationship to really get things going for you. For many of my sensual, blueprinted women out there, the ones of you who don't get spontaneously turned on, who it's more about the environment and these things really matter to you, someone's smells really matter to you, the visuals matter to you. If you have dirty clothes on the floor or the room's not quite right, it might be a huge turnoff to you. For those of you that are really in tune with the senses and really sensitive to your senses, aromatherapy can be a fantastic way to help ignite your love life and get your juices flowing again. And be sure to stay to the end because Lorrie does give you a recipe that she's formulated to help women ignite their desire that you can put together on your own. She has also been so gracious to give listeners of the Multi-Orgasmic Mama podcast a free 30-minute consultation with her. So if you have any questions on all of this, please check out in the show notes and on the blog the link to book a call with her for free. So I hope you enjoy the podcast and that you get so much out of it. And we'll see you soon, mamas. Hey, Lorrie, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. And you?
I'm wonderful. I'm so excited to have you on the podcast to share about your expertise in aromatherapy, essential oils, and aphrodisiacs.
Well, I'm very happy to be here with you. Thank you so much for asking me to be on.
Yeah. Well, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell me about what you do, the type of things that you offer to the world, and all of that goodness.
Okay. Well, my goodness is I'm a good aromatherapist.
Yeah.
And I've been doing this for 34 years. And I started because I had a daughter who had passed away when she was an infant. And it was because I had taken a medication during the pregnancy and it caused a heart defect. And so what happened was I realized that I needed to ask questions and become responsible for my health and well-being. I was a 20-year-old young mother, right? And this was something that really brought me to where I'm at today. It's kept me on my path. It's the reason I do what I do every day. And to help other people understand that they can ask questions about their health. And so what happened was I started off just eating right, no
Hmm.
medications. And then what happened was I decided to start looking at natural health alternatives that I could use instead of using medication. That got me into herbs and got me into vitamins and minerals. And as that happened, my son at 4 started stuttering. So I had 2 children now, healthy, except my son started stuttering, and he would stutter on the words, you see, you see, you see, you see. And when these kind of things happen to children, you look at it and see, was there a trauma? Is it something physical? You take them to the speech pathologist. You look in all avenues trying to help your child. And this is what I was doing with him. And so I started using flower essences, which are made with water and flowers, and they're infused in the water and they help with our emotional well-being.
Hmm.
And this was something that was helpful to him. It helped calm him and relax him, except he still was stuttering. He still wasn't quite right, even though I was feeding him right and doing all these things. So we went to a health food store, and there on the shelf was this little book, on aromatherapy. And I purchased clary sage, lavender, and orange, and geranium. And it said, put 10 drops in the bath of lavender to calm and relax you. So I started putting 10 drops in the bath for each member of the family. And after 30 days, 1 month, my son stopped stuttering.
Wow. Like,
That's, yeah. And I was like, wow, this is incredible. If this can do this for my son, what can it do for everyone else that I'm working with? Because by then I had a practice. I was an herbalist, I was an iridologist, I was a flower essence practitioner. And this was like, wow, putting all these things together and adding the aromatherapy, it was like the icing on the cake, you
yeah.
know, with him. And what could I do for the rest of my clients? So I started using essential oils and going to every single class I could go to, and this is in the early 90s. So there's just a little bit of internet. We all had little AOL accounts, and it
Yeah.
was a white screen.
Right.
So I was going to all these classes all over the state of California, and I found some organic essential oils. And when I did, the woman said to me, hey, I'm going to have a course in France. And at the same time, I got hired by a Fortune 500 company to develop their line of aromatherapy products.
Wow.
And yeah, it was like that was like the big push in my life. I thought, because I had, friends tell me, oh, who's ever going to hire you to really, make formulations and do this? They felt like I was doing this hippy dippy thing. And
Hmm.
then I get hired by a Fortune 500 company. They're like, oh, wow,
Good for you, mama.
yeah, exactly. And so we were seeing really lots of results with pain with people. We also were seeing results with people with sex problems, women who had no vaginal secretions, and they were having these problems, at 30 years of age. And so I had a product called Love Notes. And that was one of my first aphrodisiac products. And it was really helping women open themselves up to their partner. And also, then it was helping them to relax at the same time, to get that relaxation in and to be more open and to be more willing to share, sexually with their partner.
Hmm.
So it was our way uh, of sharing essential oils as aphrodisiacs. And then, of course, we made butters and other things too. However, when I went to France to take this advanced chemistry class with this woman I had met with organic essential oils, I made a business deal. And when I did, I met this guy, this French guy, and a couple nights later, we all went dancing. And I always put a little jasmine here between my breasts, because what it does is when you put essential oils on, and if you put them here, the heat comes out of our body, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it connects into the essential oil. So that just goes all out there.
Yeah.
And I ended up falling in love with this French guy, and I'm now married to him.
Can't blame you.
So that's kind of the, quick little overview. But the programs I offer, because you asked me about that too, is because I've been in aromatherapy now for 34 years, I decided to have a school, an international school, where people could become certified in essential oils to really understand how essential oils work, also to use them safely and effectively, because essential oils are so popular now.
Yeah.
They have just taken over the essential oil world. Aromatherapy has. Before, aromatherapy was just this little piece of the pie. It was more perfumery. It was more in food, complementary products, like they were added into as flavorings. That's where essential oils were really used before. And then in the last 15 years, it just took off worldwide, and people started using them at home in aromatherapy.
Right.
And so it's really changed. So now that's why it's so important, even more, to have the safety, because more people are using them, and they're using them home every day. So this is why I felt that a school was really, really important. Then I also offer a detox program with herbs, vitamins, juices, all the good stuff to keep your body healthy and strong, so you can have a good sex life, right?
Yeah.
And then I have a community, a common sense community, which is for people who want to learn about plants, flower essences, essential oils on a monthly basis. They have a subscription, and they come in. They get a live workshop every month from me for that. So those are the things that we offer, and it's such an exciting place to be in right now. I'm so inspired. I know people were going through a lot of changes, but it also gives us ways to create better things for ourselves, and to really bring all these things that nature has to offer us, and help us really be embodied here with nature, be walking with nature, be with nature, use all her wonderful resources that she's given us, and, to give back to her too. And then also be able to, I think, by being really embodied in connected into our bodies and connected with her, we also then are able then to offer our partner, and have a wonderful experience with them.
Yeah. Oh, well, I'm super excited to dive into why you want to use these essential oils, aromatherapy, and aphrodisiacs in terms of your sex life. But yeah, I get so many people that follow me that are into essential oils, and that's part of the reason that I loved you so much, is that you're the real deal. You're an expert at this. You certify other people for it. You're not some MLM. But yeah, I mean, I'm so grateful for essential oils, because I have a story with my son. When he was little, he would get fevers. He was a preemie, so his body temperature regulation was always off. And when he would get a fever, it was like from 98 to 104 in an hour. It would be just like insane ups and downs. And it was absolutely terrifying as his mom, because he would be fine when you put him to bed, and then all of a sudden he'd wake up in the middle of the night and you'd hear him crying, and he'd have 104 fever. And we started using a particular essential oil, and I started diffusing it, rubbing it on his feet every night, and then it just stopped. He stopped having those problems. So I've seen the benefits of it as well. And it has been miraculous in that sense. And I know that women have experienced benefits in their sexuality, their lubrication, and especially for my sensual erotic language ladies out there, the smells, essential oils, things like this can be really beneficial for you to incorporate into your sex life. So, Lorrie, I would love to hear about how you can do that and why you'd want to do that.
Well, how you can do that, there's many different applications with essential oils. That's what's so wonderful about them, is you can use them in so many different ways. So one of the first ways that I always like to use essential oils to get people going and get used to using them, smelling them, is first of all, find out what essential oil that you resonate with personally. Then also find out what essential oil does your partner resonate with.
Mm-hmm.
Because you could love jasmine and your partner could say, ugh, that is gross, you know?
Yeah.
And then it doesn't work when you're in the bedroom.
Right.
So first of all, you could find an oil to help maybe relax you, get you really in your body, diffuse it. And what you could do is you could take that, diffuse it, 25 drops in your nebulizer, sit with it. Say for let's use neroli, because neroli is the orange blossom, right? It has this wonderful sweet aroma. It's very calming, it's very soothing. And that's something that you could just start off doing just to relax yourself at night.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you put the kids to bed and now you just want to sit down and just kind of relax. You could put that in a diffuser, sit 6 feet away from that diffuser, and just, sit there and relax, do some breathing, read a book, whatever it is you want to do. You could even read something, that you might think is exciting.
Yeah.
Okay. To get you in the mood.
Mm-hmm.
And just to help you relax and calm down after the day, after you've done all your to-do list.
Right.
So you're not doing the shopping list in your mind when you're having sex, right?
No, hopefully not by now, ladies.
We don't want that, right?
Right. I hope we've covered that topic enough.
I'm sure you have.
Yeah.
And they could do that. And then if you find a mutual essential oil that you both love, my husband and I, we used to take jasmine and we used to put it on our light bulb, right?
Mm.
And it heats it up.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's not
that's
dangerous.
always, yeah. And so that's always been a one that he and I love together. But we also like neroli together.
Uh-huh.
One of our children was conceived with neroli essential oil. Diffusing.
Awesome. I love the nitty gritty detail.
And it was on French Mother's Day. Isn't that funny, huh?
Oh, that's awesome.
Isn't that great? We
Perfect.
had a wonderful meal together. We went out to this chateau and we had this beautiful meal together. We came back, we diffused neroli and we gave each other a neroli massage. And that's how my daughter was conceived.
Wow. Nice.
So yeah, it was, and it was, French Mother's Day. So it was a really great memory to have of her conception.
Yeah.
So yeah, they could do that. Find the one they love the most, and then if 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 your partner and you also like to use massage or you like to do each other's feet, some people don't like their feet touched. They're ticklish. They don't like that kind of thing. They
Mm-hmm.
need more of a firm touch, not a That's something that you can do that's quite lovely, and it really gets you in your body. It gets
Mm-hmm.
you out of all the other thoughts that are going on. And aroma, when you smell something that you like, it goes right to your emotional part of your brain.
Yes.
And that connects you into all of your glandular system too. So when you smell it, it goes through your olfactory bulb to your hypothalamus, then to your pituitary gland, then to your adrenals, and then to your reproductive system. It
Really?
goes to those ovaries, it goes to those testes, it gets right there, right? And it starts making you more relaxed, more open, functioning. All those things are that those meridians are flowing now through your body, right?
Hmm.
You're connected from your head to the tip of your toes. And that's why aromatherapy is so wonderful. It's the one therapy that is so pleasant just by sniffing it. You know, it's
Hmm.
easy. You don't have to do anything else. You can just sniff it and have an effect immediately.
Right.
So, this is the reason why I love to use aromatherapy for challenges like this that we all have. We all go through it.
Hmm.
You know, we as mothers, we're running around taking care of our kids, cooking meals, working, uh, doing all these things, and then we're supposed to be, the sex kitten, right? And that's where you come in.
Yeah. Right.
That's where you come in, and you're teaching us all how to be that sex kitten, right?
Right. How to get back in touch with it, really.
Yeah, how to get back in touch with our femininity,
Yeah. Yeah.
because we really have, as women now in modern day, we're really more in the masculine world. Where is our place in it? Now women get 3 months off to have a baby. I mean, it's not a lot of time.
Right. Yeah. Well, I love how you explained how it actually changes, how it works in your body and how it goes into your reproductive organs. One thing that I always like to share is how having your senses activated is very important for being in the present moment. And when you have smells that you really enjoy and like, I don't know if you're one of those people, maybe you can speak to this, Lorrie, but who you remember things by the smells or the music that you hear, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So there are certain smells that if I smell something that smells like something that happened in the past, I will have that memory of the thing, right? And if I hear music from a particular time in my life, I'll have a memory of that particular time in my life, and they leave these imprints, right? But I love how you were saying this really gets you into the limbic system, into that limbic part of your brain, because it does bring up, it taps you into your emotional body and to your body more deeply. And this is why I think it's such a great tool for women who really struggle with getting in their body in the first place, because it can
Mm-hmm.
help facilitate that connection and that reconnection with the body again, because it brings you into the present moment.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I totally agree with you on that. I totally agree with that. Because the thing is like you're saying, even when you are in your mother's womb, everything that your mother is going through, you are experiencing. So that means everything she eats, everything she smells, every person she speaks to, every connection she's making, you are also experiencing. That's making your world in the womb. So
Yes.
if your mother, is eating a goat cheese and honey, you're going to know what goat cheese and honey tastes like after you come up, because they have even done tests where with the anomic fluid, where they had the mother eat garlic and they took anomic fluid out, and the anomic fluid tasted like garlic.
Oh, weird.
Yeah. So when my last daughter was born at home,
Uh,
the night before I had her, I knew I was going to have her. So I had a very small salad. That's all I had, with goat cheese and honey on. That's why I bring up the goat cheese and honey story. And so I sat in a birthing chair, 2 pushes. She came out, and the midwife handed her to me. And my husband was sitting behind me, and he, looks over and he says, "So what is it?" Because we didn't know what she was. And he goes, I said, "It's a girl." And he's like, "Oh my goodness." And he goes, and so I put her up to him, and he smells her. And he goes, "Oh my gosh, she smells like goat cheese and honey."
oh, come on. Wow.
Because everything that we eat, it goes into their body too.
Yeah.
And there's this connection, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this, and so him smelling her like this, see, smelling her with his sense of smell and my sense of smell and saying, oh my gosh, she smells like goat cheese and honey, like last night that you ate. So you
Nice.
can see how, and every time we eat goat cheese and honey, we think of her birth.
Right. Yeah, totally. They mark that limbic brain somehow. It's doing
Yeah, it's so great. And that's why if you're in different cultures, different essential oils will work for you because you have smelled those things before. You
it.
know, I was teaching a class and I had students who were from the US. I had one from Italy. I had one from India. So I passed around an essential oil called helichrysum, which is a lot of people know it now. At that time, it wasn't as popular. Now we call it gold, you know.
Mhm.
And so as I passed it around, I said, so what does this remind you of? And the American said, oh, this is very medicinal. I gave it to the Italian. Italian goes, oh my gosh, this is such a wonderful smell to me. She goes, it reminds me of where we used to make love, where we make love in Italy.
Huh.
She said, in the field, in the, you know, it grows in the wild in Italy, right?
Oh, okay.
And so she said, it's in the places where we make love.
Hmm.
Like, you know, we say roll in the hay, Americans, right?
Right.
Theirs is more like roll in the helichrysum.
Oh my gosh, how funny. I didn't know that.
So you see, we have these, for Americans it was medicinal, but for her as an Italian, it was romance, it was love, it was all these things. So that's why I say find out what resonates with you, what makes you feel sexy,
Mhm.
what makes you, you know, think, oh wow, you know, I would love to have an experience right now. I'd love to have an experience with my husband right now or my partner.
Mhm. Yeah, awesome. Well, I'm wondering also about aphrodisiacs. Do they really work?
Well, they've worked for a lot of my clients, of course, and my students' clients, aphrodisiacs. The essential oils that we use a lot as aphrodisiacs, ylang ylang, that's flowers of flowers from Madagascar, and it is very high in linalool. And you're probably saying, why are you telling me this? You know, but the reason I'm telling you this is because lavender is high in linalool. And people say, lavender, an aphrodisiac? Well, it is. There's even been studies done by Dr. Alan Hirsch of the Smell Institute in Chicago, where they hooked up men and they had them smell certain kinds of smells to see if they would have an erection.
Hmm.
And lavender was one of them that turned men on.
Wow. Hmm.
Also was apple pie.
Oh, come on. Wow.
I maybe they want some ice cream with it too. I don't know.
Lavender and apple
But
pie, ladies.
yeah, so I mean, you've got cinnamon, right? You've got cinnamon in apple pie. So cinnamon is also known as an aphrodisiac. It also stimulates into the circulation of the body. But lavender and ylang ylang both have the chemical constituent linalool in it, and that's what calms you and relaxes you and gets you, you know, into the mood.
Mhm.
So those two are really nice. And then, of course, you have rose. Rose opens up your heart. And, you know, you can feel so close to someone with rose. Jasmine, as we know, is an aphrodisiac as a tea, as an essential oil. It's it's like being in a cloud, an euphoric cloud, jasmine for me. And yet there's this deep, earthy aspect to it.
Mhm.
And like I said, before when I was talking about how I put the jasmine in between my breast and with the heat of my body, how it amplified it. Well, in Victorian times, young women, you know, that's they were wearing the collars clear up, you know, to the below their chin.
Mhm.
They still knew about aphrodisiacs and about lavender.
Mhm.
They were taking the the lavender flowers itself, making small little necklaces with it, putting it between their breasts underneath their tall collars, And this is how they were attracting their men, because the heat of their body was heating up those flowers there.
Kanai, ladies. Huh.
So so this has been going on forever, right? And look what Cleopatra did with Mark Antony. You know, she put rose all over the sails of her boat as she went down the Nile
Hmm.
to attract him, right?
Yeah.
He knew she was coming. Oh man, here comes Cleopatra. Mark Antony was saying, you know,
Oh.
wow, my woman is here. And then, of course, you know, there's always the feast. You can make so many wonderful foods with essential oils and foods that are aphrodisiacs. You can make things from, you know, you can make love balls with almond butter and rose water and add some essential oil to it, you know, to eat before you want to have a love feast. I mean, there's so many wonderful things that you can do with essential oils and plants together that Mother Nature has offered us.
Mm, I love that. So, what about aphrodisiac foods? Like, what are some that you could share with us about?
Well, of course, chocolate is number
Okay.
one.
Yeah. Yeah.
we got to have chocolate, right?
Uh-huh.
And a chocolate syrup. What I like to do is take chocolate syrup, and then I like to take little bits of cinnamon, you know, cinnamon,
Mhm.
infuse that into the chocolate bits for just 7 days. And then you pour it over your favorite ice cream that you want to have with your partner. You both like ice cream.
Mhm.
You can pour it over many different things. You also, if you don't have the chips and you want to do something quick, you can always just take the Hershey syrup, or, you know, an organic chocolate syrup, and add 1 drop of cinnamon bark essential oil to it. Now, remember, it's hot, so be careful.
Mhm. Yeah.
And, you know, it would be like 1 drop to 1 ounce of your chocolate syrup. You would add it to it, and then you could pour it over the top of your ice cream. And that is so nice. It's just warming, warms your heart, warms your body, gets you started going, you know. And then the chocolate makes people happy. You know, it has endorphins.
Yeah.
That's probably one of my favorite ones. And
Mhm.
I remember my husband saying, I just ate chocolate, you know,
Nice.
as a hint.
AKA, it's time to get it on.
Exactly. Let's get it on.
Yes. Beautiful. Hmm. Well, I'm wondering, is this like a DIY thing, or should someone really reach out to an expert, a aromatherapist that really knows what they're doing? I mean, I think there's some new Netflix show that I watched the thing on essential oils. I forget what it's called. Do you know what you're
Mhm.
talking about?
You know, I don't recall the name, but is it something about wellness
Yeah.
or
Oh, maybe something like that.
something like that too? But I know exactly what you're talking about, and how they interviewed different people for different things, and they were showing how it works, but yet they were showing also how you need to be careful,
Yeah.
and how, you know, you need to listen to someone who's an expert on it, really.
Right.
I think it's probably both.
Yeah.
I'll give you a good example here. I had a secretary, and she uh, bought this aphrodisiac product that had cinnamon in it. There we go with cinnamon.
Mm.
And she bought it for she and her husband's honeymoon. And it's just before I knew her, before she knew anything about aromatherapy.
Mhm.
So they go on this honeymoon, and she gives her husband a massage. And when she does, of course, it gets on his penis.
Okay.
He was on fire.
Oh no.
On fire. I mean, it ruined their their honeymoon night. It just ruined it. And then he got in the shower. And when you add water to essential oils in a product, it pushes it deeper into your skin.
Oh no.
And so he was a hot
A hot
kind of
mess.
guy.
He was a hot mess.
He was a hot mess. Yeah, he wasn't hot and bothered. He was a hot mess.
Right.
So she tells me this story. And then after, of course, she was my secretary. She was taking the classes. We're always teaching people that's why I said, be careful with the cinnamon, because cinnamon is very hot. Thyme's very hot. Savory's very hot. Clove is very hot. And those are all warming things. So you have to be very careful in which essential oils you're going to be using as aphrodisiacs when you're working with your partner, because you're going to get it on your genitals. You're going to get it on there,
Yeah.
And then what is it that you want to taste? We've also got to talk about that too. What is it that you want to taste and what your partner wants to taste? You both don't like cinnamon, or one does and the other one doesn't. You better not use cinnamon, but really I would suggest not to use cinnamon on the body.
Okay. Taken.
So be very careful with hot essential oils. That's number one. Then also look at essential oils and their contraindications. That's very, very important, especially if you're using certain medications. And this is where a certified registered aromatherapist comes in, because they're going to look at the CYP 450s of the medication that you are using before they offer you a formulation. So if you have pre-existing conditions, if you are on medications, then I suggest that you see a registered aromatherapist, a certified aromatherapist.
Gotcha.
Yeah. If you don't have those pre-existing conditions and you find a formulation that doesn't have a lot of hot essential oils in it, you're using lavender, ylang. The thing is you just need to make sure that you're not using too much. Less is better with essential oils, because essential oils, it's not like, me sitting here drinking this yogi tea.
Right. Yeah. And always,
and I've got my bombshell cup.
Oh, the Victoria's Secret bombshell, right?
Yeah. It's not like that, because this is plants, but essential oils, it takes, for example, 3 tons of rose petals to make 1 kilo of rose oil. So that's how concentrated essential oils are. Mm-hmm. So you just need a couple drops. Less is always better with them. So the most I ever use in a massage like that, when I'm going to massage it on my partner, is 23 drops to 1 ounce of carrier oil. Mm-hmm. So if I'm going to just use, say, for example, neroli orange blossom, I would just use 23 drops of that in the carrier oil of almond oil or apricot oil. And then I would give the massage, or, the reflexology treatment, or the neck massage, or, you can use coconut oil into also with ylang and orange. And you can also play. I like to play with smells, of course, because that's what I do. Right. You can use apricot, and you can use a little bit of orange and ylang together, and you'll get a little bit of a chocolate aspect smell too. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of things you can play with, but just always be very, very careful, because essential oils they can cause allergies. It's the truth. Mm-hmm. We all know that, especially in Europe. In Europe, on all of our labels, if we use essential oils in a product, we have to put the allergens on it. In the US, you don't do that yet. Wow. So we already have that here. And so we have to be, honest with these kinds of things. And if you're just wanting to make something with lavender, a simple blend, then, you can do a do it yourself.
Right. DIY, right. Awesome. Well, I'm wondering, do you have any freebies or offerings that you'd like to share with everyone?
Oh, you mean today, like a recipe?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Of course. One of my favorites is you do 4 drops of sandalwood, because we know sandalwood also is relaxing. It's a natural aphrodisiac. And then I like to use 2 drops of rose, and then 8 drops of jasmine, and 2 drops of ylang ylang in 1 ounce of apricot oil or almond oil. And I like to do that as a massage. That is one of my favorite blends because that was the blend that we use for Love Notes.
Oh my God, that sounds amazing. I'm trying to envision I can't say envision because I'm not trying to envision it, but I'm trying to think of how that would smell. But all of those I love. So that sounds awesome.
Oh, yes. Well, it's really all these beautiful flowers, except for the sandalwood being a wood.
Uh-huh.
And there is some talk of that when men, just when they perspire, not sweating, but perspire, that they have a certain aspect of sandalwood essential oil, the smell.
Mm. Yeah.
When you smell men. So there's this part of it too, that gets us gals going, right?
Oh yeah. Well, I'm all about it. I've used essential oils as perfume for probably 15 years now. So
Oh, wow. Wow.
no need for the $100 bottle of God only knows what's in it at Dillard's or the department store.
I totally agree. We developed organic perfumes.
Yeah.
And so that was such a wonderful experience for me. And we did a whole line of chocolate products and made a perfume that was called Quetzal, which is around the god of chocolate and all that. So that was quite fun. And we used a cacao extract in that we added. Then we used essential oils of orange and frankincense, and we used the waters of the essential oils too in that. We used neroli and rose hydrosol into the perfume with the alcohol and the water and the glycerin and all the stuff. So that is, you can do wonderful things like that. And when I first came to France, we went to Grasse. Of course, we had to go to Grasse, the capital of perfume. And so the woman told us, you always put your perfume, in all of your pulse points, your wrist, your elbows, behind your knees, behind your neck, because that's, and your breast, because as when you walk into that room, you want everyone to know you're there, your smell. And so then that's what's going to attract the right person for you, if you're trying to attract somebody, or also then attract your partner.
Yeah. Awesome. Women's ways.
Oh, yes, we have our ways.
Awesome. Well, where can we find out more about you and connect with you?
Yes, you can connect with me at LorrieHargis.com, LorrieHargis.com. You can connect with me there, and you can reach out to me if you want to ask me any questions. Feel free to do so.
Cool. Yes, yeah. I know you're on LinkedIn. That's how we connected. Yeah.
Yes, LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn and I'm on Facebook too.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and all your tips and tricks for us, Lorrie, and for giving us that awesome recipe that I'm definitely going to have to try out now.
Well, let me know how you do with it, because it worked for my sister-in-law very well.
Awesome. All right, love. Thank you so much, and we'll talk soon.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Enjoying this content? Be sure to subscribe, rate, and review the Multi-Orgasmic Mama podcast today. And don't forget to spread the love by sharing this with a friend.